The country today marks the second anniversary since the ceasing of post-election tension through the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM party leader Raila Odinga following the 2017 general elections. Now, 2 years down the line after handshake that took place in March 9th, 2018 at the Harambee House, Kenyans have expressed different views over the handshake, as Dana Wenwa now reports.
March 9, 2018, President Uhuru Kenyatta and the ODM party leader Raila Odinga seized the post-election hostility and tension that was in the country following the 2017 general elections, when they took to Harambee House for the handshake. It is through the handshake that the BBI task force was formed, and it gained momentum after its official release at the Bomas of Kenya by the two leaders, accompanied by several rallies across the country to create awareness about the report. However, the handshake seemed to have almost extinguished the political fires, but 2 years later, the old fires seem to be smoldering and rekindling old rivalries, which are threatening to erupt in 2022 elections. Leaders allied to the Deputy President William Ruto feel that this is a secret mission to root out Deputy President from his 2022 electoral bid. However, Kenyans have different views on the matter, thus raising eyebrows whether it's uniting or dividing the country.
Hakuna hatua nimechukua juu hatujaambiwa, hatujui hiyo ni nini. By the way, tunasikia tu majina, hakuna kitu tunajua.
Waandiko anafaa kupewa ile kitabu asome ka referendum kitabu ilikujaga watu wakasoma. Mbona hii ya BBI kukuja?
Handshake kwangu kuna party nzuri juu naona imeleta amani hapa Kenya. Lakini kwa wakati mwingine unajua handshake walibadilisha ikakuwa kama ni politics sasa.
Handshake ni mzuri sana juu watu Kenya tuna settle free, tuko na uhuru.
Itashikanisha watu hiyo handshake. Kila mtu mahali yako anafanya kazi yake akiwa na uhuru.
At the end of the day, mtu hata 100 hatapata. Ukienda kwa unga it is 100 and something. Unaona? So maana ya BBI ni nini? Na hiyo pesa inatumika kwa BBI, singefanya mambo ingine badala ya BBI. BBI tena Ruto anasema watu wameshaelewana. Sasa wanaenda kufundisha watu nini? Hii makaratasi ya wareti, wewe unakuja kuambiwa kitu hakuna.
As this transpires every single day, Kenyans are left wondering about the unexpected scenarios, with leaders having different opinions on the handshake and the BBI task force. Dana Wenwa, KUTV.
Many thanks, Dana Wenwa. Now, as we delve deeper into the anniversary of the handshake, that is the second anniversary, I'm joined right here in the studio by our two friends, Enoch Mariba, who is a political analyst, together with Sarah Bomae, who is an advocate. Many thanks for choosing to join us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Let me start with Sarah. So far, we are celebrating, or rather marking, the second anniversary of the handshake. According to you, do you think that the handshake has really accomplished that which it was initiated for?
Yeah, true. In my view, I think it has accomplished. One, by uniting Kenyans, we can say we have peace in the country, which would not have been if the situation that was experienced then could have continued. So for me, I think and the conversations going around, giving the people chances to talk and give their recommendations and views, I think we're heading somewhere, and it's really achieving its mandate.
Do you feel all Kenyans are now united?
Yeah, for me, I think yes, except for a few imbalances here and there, caused by, I would say, some selfish interest here and there. Yeah, but basically,
you think it has accomplished
its
purpose? And you, do you think it has accomplished its purpose?
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being here. First and foremost, I want to send my condolences to the people of Msambweni for the loss of the member of parliament. All I can say about the handshake, we have seen great improvements, especially in our economy. I'll give credit where it deserves. So that I can say that for the handshake, the GDP of the economy has grown as by now. Yeah.
But the purpose for which it was intended for, that is uniting Kenyans. Do you feel that Kenyans are now united compared to just before the handshake?
Unfortunately, all I can say that we have seen division. That was not the purpose. The purpose of the handshake was to unite all the Kenyans. Kenyans in one voice, Kenyans whereby you will not be able to say that this is a Kikuyu, this is a Kisi, this is a Maasai, this is a Karenjin. But of late we have seen division, and there is a wrangles, there is lift. So we believe that before we go to the next elections, and when we're talking about peace, it means that this is something which has been experienced after the elections or before the elections. This is now where we're talking about that if there is the handshake, can we forget about our past? Can we dwell on the economy? Can we dwell on the generation which is coming? So
you feel the economy is now doing better?
Of course, yeah. Like I said, I'm one person who is very honest, and I'll say things the way they are. For the economy, when the handshake was witnessed, the economy was okay. But now, politics have started coming in. Very bad. For me, I can say that if it's handshake, let's dwell on the handshake. The politics of this country, the Kenyans are tired. What the Kenyans want, they don't want what is called the narratives. They want action being taken. That before the elections and after the elections, there is life. That's all I can say.
So back to you, Sarah. What do you think can really be done to ensure that everyone is in one place in terms of unity? Because of course we still have the Tanga movement and the other one. So of course it clearly shows you there is no unity per se. What do you think can really be done to ensure that everyone comes on board, to ensure that Kenyans are united?
Okay, on that, what I think is when the initiative was first initiated through the handshake between HE, the president, and Right Honorable Raila Odinga, it was a way of uniting Kenyans in this way. The Jubilee Party was solid by then, yeah? So the only parties that were maybe fighting the government or feeling isolated were the ODM party. You get the NASA, whatever. So by the handshake, the intention of the president, which I believe, according to Article 131 of the Constitution, where he's mandated to unite Kenyans, to ensure that peace prevails in Kenya, he did the right thing to meet the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, did the handshake, but sad to say, some people misinterpreted the whole thing because of the political ambitions that rendered the whole thing, or sort of trying to render the whole thing, you know, like I would say selfish sort of an approach. And I think that's a very they're misleading people. So I think for it to be united and for it to unite every Kenyan is for the two groups, the Tanga and Kieleweke, for every person to take responsibility of the fact that for this country to be united, it is a personal responsibility. Let me leave the Tanga, let me leave Kieleweke, let us unite ourselves as Kenyans. I think it is a personal initiative. Nobody can force anyone to cooperate on anything.
You want to comment?
Yes, what Sarah is missing is one thing, and she's not able to say how it is. The handshake came for the interest of the dynasties, and I'll say it, that they came on board, said, oh, now you can safeguard my interest. Let no one lie to you that the handshake meant good for the 45 million, 47
You've
million.
just said that it has improved the economy of the Kenyans.
Yes.
You have just said
but
that.
I can tell you, that was the cause. But later on, let's say how things they are. There was handshake and there was handshake. In what essence? What is your interest? Like I said when I was here, when the economy was going down, when the leader of ODM said to his followers, now don't buy APCD, move to this. That's when there was a challenge. And even the president felt it, that indeed where the economy is headed to is not the right way.
But do you think we are in a better place, given that right now there is even the flow of cash? People are really crying about the flow of cash is actually limited. Do you think economy is really doing
Between
so well?
2018, And mid of 2019, the economy was good. Before, now politics started playing. The economy was okay. But today, I can tell you for sure, the politics has taken the center stage.
So how has politics affected the economy?
Like you can see, they've been moving around, saying that, especially in Narok, what was witnessed in Narok, and I believe it's not going to reoccur again, saying this place is ours. If you're here, just come, do business, but avoid our things, especially in politics. So people feel like before we go to the next election, there is already tension. And that's why I wanted the president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and the leader of ODM to advise or to speak to their readers to avoid divisive politics at this particular time. If they really mean good for us, divisive politics should not be played at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a problem with my friend here on this note. The handshake issue was very clear. The BBI report is so clear on the 9 key points, which includes divisive politics, dealing with divisive politics, ethnicity, and all those issues surrounding the or affecting the peace of the country and all. So I have an issue with the distortion of information. For instance, let me say, maybe you bring to me an idea, you table it down here. You tell me this is what we are supposed to do, citing 1, 2, 3 objectives that this idea or initiative is ought to achieve.
Yes.
Then a friend of mine comes and says, and tries, to get in between and distorts your and my idea or your idea that you already gave to me. Is it our fault? Is our idea the fault here, or the person who is the misconception, or the person who is bringing that misconception? Because we clearly have an agenda. However people want to interpret it, that is upon them.
All right.
You see, and it is very clear. The president and Raila Odinga, they were very, very clear on what the BBI and whatever initiative wanted to achieve. Why people? No, it hasn't changed. Politicians have changed it. Why people? Let me finish. Let me just finish.
Give her time.
Kindly. Let me finish. What has happened is that politicians have interfered with the whole thing, riding it to ensure that they divide Kenyans, because politicians know once Kenyans are united, they will not have their way. So that's why they are distorting these two. Otherwise, were it not for politicians, we would have a very united Kenya that the handshake seek to achieve. So I would think this is a whole distortion of information, and the handshake, the message in the handshake should not be distorted depending on personal interests.
Okay. All right. Now, Enoch, give me a minute. Just hold on to your thought. Don't forget about it. But first, let's look at Deputy President William Ruto's reaction. He actually feels that the handshake has spoiled the Jubilee agenda. Take a look.
Kuna tofauti ya Jubilee ile tulikuwa tunajua, kwa sababu umaarufu na ushujaa wa Jubilee ni barabara, kuunganisha stima, kuunganisha maji, kujenga technical training college. Hiyo ndio wana Jubilee wanaelewa, lugha ya Jubilee ndio hiyo. Lakini sasa iko lugha ingine imefika hapa ya kubadilisha katiba. Sasa hapo ndio inaleta mchanganyiko. Kwa sababu unajua kuna mashujaa wa ugomvi wa katiba, na mnajua kina nani hawa. Ndio unaona kidogo wamekuja wametuchanganya. Badala ya sisi kupanga reli ile tulikuwa tunajenga, na kupanga barabara ile tulikuwa tunajenga, na kuunganisha maji ile tulikuwa tunafanya, na kuunganisha stima, sasa wametuletea mjadala ingine hapa ya katiba.
And of course, in response to that, Member of Parliament of Rarieda, Otienda Molo, speaks about, or rather suggests, the impeachment of the Deputy President. Take a look.
The President says BBI, you say no. The President says right, you say left. That means you have stopped deputizing the President. What you must do...
All right, now back to Enoch. Do you think, following Deputy President's remarks, do you think that BBI, or rather handshake that led to BBI, of course, do you think it has really served, especially the Jubilee Party, quite well, or the leadership of Kenya quite well, given that the relationship between the President and the Deputy President has actually gone south, just for lack of a better term?
All I can say is, Deputy President William Ruto said, you know, I myself have gone through that document from page 1 to 156. All we were expecting, you know, that's just a report. It's yet to be implemented. And what the Kenyans, the millions of the Kenyans want is action.
And sorry, Enoch, do you think that this particular handshake and BBI, which is the result, has this interfered with the relationship between the two, the president and the deputy president? That was the question.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because the handshake meant good for all of us, including the deputy president. It's only that it has changed to politics. Like
so you think that's still good? The president and the deputy?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's just a narrative. It's the narrative which has been manufactured. Like what Honorable Tenda Moro is trying to say, or even Sierra Senator James Orengo. They have been manufacturing narratives to come up to taint the image of the deputy president that is corrupt, that also and so many things have been done in his office. Like for instance, what happened in his office about the allegations of that 9 billion. Or you could have asked yourself, in a country like Kenya, where they have invested a lot in intelligence, you wanted to tell me that Echeza could have done that, stay away, and then before the whistleblower comes out, that's when they realize that something had happened.
All right, let's not drift to Echeza's issue. We are now back to the handshake. How do you compare the chemistry between the deputy president and the president himself, just during the formation of Jubilee Party and right now after the handshake? How do you compare the two?
I belong to say that things are good because, like yesterday, during the Zero campaign, you did not see the deputy president, or rather the wife, Rachel. So that tells you that there is division. And
So there is division. You agree?
Yes, there is. I agree. I'll not sit here and lie to Kenyans that the president and his deputy, they are reading from one scripture. That would be wrong. Like I said, I'll point out what is right and what's wrong. So like what has transferred is that now the leader of ODM, they have taken, actually they've walked away with the PPI. Instead of telling the Kenyans, like now we've been given the report to analyze and say what's supposed to be changed. They haven't said about it. That's why there is a problem. Now what they're coming out to say is that, oh, this has to be done, and not even a single right they have gone. And you can see now, when they went to Meru, they came up with a narrative that when Murikomen addressed and they left, so huge people left. So now they're saying it's the deputy president. The only thing they have not shitted him with is roadcasts. That's the only thing. Okay. By everything negative, they will ensure that it's from the deputy president. Okay. But for them, they don't want to tell the Kenyans what is supposed to be done because the president gave more time to the PPI team.
All right.
To go and see, a minute, to go and see what's supposed to be done. Like on the corruption, which is the thing which has made this country go down. Yeah. They haven't told us on how they're going to work on corruption and ensure we're free from corruption. What we are seeing is politics day and out. Now we are waiting to see the one which was postponed in Nakuru, if it's going to take place. And they were supposed to go to Eldoret. Why? If indeed it's to unite all the Kenyans. And this is where I differ with the people who are shitted with Raila Odinga. Let's not be talking about 2022.
So and you have a problem with Raila Odinga?
I don't have the problem with he is following his followers. And in fact, if today they really meant good for us, they couldn't be pointing out.
Okay. Let's give the lady also a chance. She's been quiet for some time. Now, Sarah, do you think that BBI is really trying to sell Raila Odinga to central Kenya? Do you think it will work, or what do you foresee?
I want to deny that narrative, that BBI is trying to sell Raila Odinga in Kenya. How can you sell part of an initiative in central, I mean in central region? So my question is, was it good for him not to show up in central region, and yet he's the initiator and part of the initiator? These people were not, these other parties who are complaining were not part of the handshake. Nobody knows, even me and you, whoever, nobody knows what they discussed during that time. We can only go by what they told us. So I'm mesmerized by the fact that people are creating a narrative that BBI is selling Raila Odinga in central region. Yet, he's the owner of the handshake with the with the president, Hechi, the president. So, for instance, you had a child in school. Will you let your neighbor go to that school, visit your child, because maybe you have some interest or you're the board member or something, and people will associate you to being there because you have interest? I don't understand that whole thing. Raila is rightfully in all those rallies, and nobody should change that. And what do you nobody should change those narratives. And this issue of saying it has been distorted or it's not selling development matters to the people, for me, I beg to differ with that, because there are two things. The rallies are just side shows. The real deal is happening on the committees that have been happening, and I'm part of the Youth United for BBI, and we have already presented our recommendations very nicely, in a very composed way, gave our recommendations of what we want the youths to gain from this whole thing, and every other party, every other organization that feels the need to communicate amicably, they have done so. So all these rallies happening, all these shows happening out there, those are just political rallying people, just exciting people, because in Kenya everything is meant to excite people so that they can give it attention, but the real thing is happening, and people should not be misled. If you have a recommendation, and it's closing soon, I think by Thursday, yes, if you have a recommendation, make sure you take it to the committee, and that one touches on your development. If you feel there are issues about development that have not been touched on those rallies, kindly ignore them. Those are for politicians. Go to the committee.
Just give her time.
Let me finish. You'll have time to talk. So my friend is becoming excited.
What she's saying that this rally is a waste of time.
Please give her time. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, to my honest opinions, the rallies are side shows. It's not a must they happen. It's not mandatory, because the important, and me, I am very interested in what is beneficial to Wanjiku.
And Sarah, just speaking about Wanjiku, what do you make of the perception of the people of central Kenya? How do they perceive the president right now as we speak? What's the perception about the president?
The president,
is it the same just before election or during election or immediately after, and compare it with just after the handshake? What's their perception?
As far as I'm concerned, and with the people I've interacted, people love the president. They're good with the president. And their issue is a few elements that are being brought by, because if you find a central person, a person from the central region, just criticizing or saying something negative about the presidency or about anything, it's a paid person, maybe via handouts, a follower of a certain group that is not cooperating.
So you feel it has been state managed?
I feel Uhuru is loved. And this will be very evident, because when he speaks to the people of Central, you can see their reaction. And people say they don't love the president because maybe sometimes they shout Ruto, but people are for a united country.
But what does that show you if there is a group of people that are still shouting about the deputy president? And
it shows that they recognize them. as a as oh god, that I wasn't supposed to say that. Yeah, sorry. It recognizes them like a duo and the leadership of this country.
Do they shout about him in good faith?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
And some do that because they are paid to do that, to make it look ugly. But for me, and the interpretation of many people is to show that it is an inseparable duo.
Okay.
And the president has never stood and talked ill about the deputy president. What he says talks is about corruption. And I wonder why some people feel targeted when corruption is being fought, why some people feel targeted when the country is uniting. It shows that some people are for this country going to the dogs and people fighting, the people being divided. That's the joy of some people because that's the only way they can be able to sell themselves to the people. But with a united Kenya, people with corruption cases, people with you could have development matters and ideas, but your corruption could outshadow everything.
All right.
So I think Uhuru is loved.
You'd
and that's
like
what we
to
can
respond
change.
clearly.
Thank you very much. All I can say, Sarah, she's in agreement that the rallies which are happening just shade souls. Nevertheless, all I can say, if indeed we believe in democracy, we should allow the due process to take its course.
What's the due process, if I may ask?
We have been seeing some speculations going around, especially on the death of Kenyatta. Let's allow the due process, there is DCI, do their job as we wait.
But so far, DCI have really done their job, and I've not seen anyone stepping in that particular position.
They're yet to give the file. They're yet to.
On that note, I would like us to look at a particular clip here about just that topic of DCI. Of course, the Deputy President complaining about the DCI. Let's take a look.
Mwambia bwana DCI, tafadhali my friend, fanya kazi ya askari, chunguza, tafuta ukweli. Siasa wachana naye. Siasa wachana naye. Kwa sababu hii njama inaundwa ya kisiasa. For political reasons, the DCI is being used to undermine my office, to bring me down, and many of them are not even ashamed to say William Ruto will not be there in 2022, and yet they are walking around.
So, Enoch, what do you make of the politicization of Kenya's death?
Like I said, we are in a country whereby democracy should be exercised. Like I said, I never want to comment something which is under investigation. Let the due process. Let's be fair enough and give the office of the DCL, the PPL, so that they do their work. So these are things, once they have the file, then we'll be able to comment from there. Yeah.
So for now?
For now, I'll not comment on an issue which is under investigation. Yeah.
Okay, just as we wind up, you'd like to make any final comment?
Final comment?
Yes.
All right. So, one, I will start with the agendas of the BBI. One being fighting corruption.
Yes.
And this is what I have to say about that. If we are to win the fight of corruption, and this will be beneficial to the Wanjiko, it will be beneficial to everybody in this country, whether you support Tangatanga, whether you support Kieleweke, it doesn't matter. You are part and parcel of this country and this Kenya, and you're governed by the same laws that, and the same economy. So let us allow, whether we're in positions, our leaders, our politicians, my urge would be, let us allow corruption to be fought. Let the judiciary do its work. Nobody can coerce the judiciary because it's an independent entity. But we have been seeing cases of people being taken to court and being released. Maybe it follows due procedures, of course.
You are an advocate.
Yes, it follows due procedures, of course. But the politicking about it afterwards, whereby if for instance, like if I am allowed to use the case of Waititu, when Waititu was pointed out the first time, there are some people who went, out there telling people that they are being targeted. It's just supporters and all that. I don't want to like target anybody here, but clearly there can't be a trend. Every time a corruption issue is being raised, there is always a defense in public. Why can't we allow the due process, as my friend here puts it, the due procedures, the due process, let every arm of the government, the judiciary, the executive, and the president, the president also has the power to sack his CSS and all those, and he has done it. We have seen in the recent past what he has done. Second thing, about national unity. About the national unity. Let us not divide Kenyans. For us to achieve a united Kenya, for us to achieve the results and the fruits of BBI, and if you are for the BBI, and BBI, which is coming to unite Kenyans, let us remove and do away with the narrative of telling people or trying to insinuate it's serving some few.
Thank you.
Okay, or they call it dynasty.
Thank you. Shortly, Enoch.
Thank you very much. All I can say about the Handshake and PPI is all about one, it came to make someone busy, and some of the Hydra governors to keep on going around, and a number of them, I'm certain, they haven't read the PPI report. And finally, what I can say, we love our president, he's our president, and he's a deputy president. All we want to see is the Big Four agenda. These are politicking.
So you don't want BBI? You want the Big Four agenda?
All I've been saying, when the report came out, we were given an opportunity to go through it and give our recommendations on the things which are supposed to be changed. Not all things are good and not all are bad. All we're saying is that let's go through this document and give our independent report as how it's supposed to be. But for now, what we want to see is our country united. In fact, Kenya is the most peaceful country. So what we want to say is that a Kenya whereby we have one voice, free corruption, and development.
All right. Many thanks. That is Enoch Mariba, who is a political analyst, together with Sarah Wamai, who is an advocate, discussing, of course, a very pertinent issue right there, the handshake matter. Now,